Texas is projected to become the largest data center hub in the U.S., and local residents are concerned about what that means for their own backyards.
As News 10's Abby Ferguson reports, the Waco Bridge hosted a data center forum to talk about the growing impact on state water and electricity supplies.
We just don't want it there.
That's become the general response to the rapid growth of data centers in the U.S. A Gallup study revealed that 7 out of 10 Americans oppose building data centers in their local area, a resounding opposition that gained momentum tonight in Waco. The Waco Bridge hosted a data center forum to discuss the biggest issues on citizens' minds, the effect on state water and energy supply. Ross resident Ernest Uptmore lives right across the street from the proposed Lacy Lakeview data center, and for him, those concerns are all too real.
The use of water, electricity, in our case, living across the road, we're worried about light pollution, noise pollution, heat pollution.
Among tonight's panel were McLennan County Judge Scott Felton, data center expert Dr. Margaret Cook, and state environmental policy expert Luke Metzger. All 3 panelists expressed concerns about water use. Dr. Cook stated that data centers are projected or could even exceed 2.7% of the state's water use by 2030. And that might seem like a small number, but they all said that Texas is already water stressed, and data centers certainly won't help.
State Water Development Board projects that we won't have enough water to meet future demands, not even counting data centers.
Dr. Cook added that projected water use by data centers isn't even clear.
When the Texas Water Development Board does their data collection from water users, data centers have not been answering those surveys.
Electrical grid limitations were also a hot topic. Dr. Cook said that ERCOT has received data center power requests over 194 gigawatts, double the state's current grid.
That estimate is not necessarily every data center that would get constructed.
Because those are just requests and connecting that capacity isn't feasible, Cook estimates that actual additions will likely be around 30 to 51 gigawatts, still putting strain on the state's current grid. Judge Felton said that local governments have minor control, turning attention to statewide solutions. The Texas state legislature is hosting interim hearings on data centers this summer, which are open to public comment. And the 2027 state water plan is accepting public feedback until tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, which could give opponents a chance to express concerns about the state's water allocations as data centers continue to be proposed at a rapid rate. Reporting in Waco, Abby Ferguson, KWTX News 10.
A Texas developer is suing